What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Crypto for You. I have some very interesting things to talk about because if we look at the crypto chart, something very interesting has happened for Bitcoin. If we look at it, Bitcoin has pumped very, very fast to the upside. Look at the raw Bitcoin chart. We can see that we actually rose 13% very, very fast and came straight back down. This is because of something very, very big that I really want to talk to you guys about and prepare you guys because Bitcoin could start moving very, very fast, very, very soon. And we're going to talk about all that in this video. So let's get straight into the charts. Because looking at this, Cointelegraph comes out with an apology. This is what the big news is. This is why Bitcoin pumped. Because Cointelegraph apologized for a tweet that led to the decimation of inaccurate information regarding the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. They're saying that an internal investigation is currently underway, which we can pull up, and this investigation has been open to the public, and Cointelegraph is trying to actively fix what they have done. Now, what did they do? Well, clarification on sharing false spot Bitcoin ETF news. They shared false spot Bitcoin ETF news. Let's look at this. Earlier today, during routine coverage, Cointelegraph social media team posted a message on X without prior editorial approval, stating that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission had approved BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, but this was false and a result of misinformation. Now, it says that Cointelegraph did not publish an article with this incorrect information, but they did send a post on X. And the impact it caused was massive. There's a whole entire very in-depth explanation of how the editorial team was alerted from the rumored news through a Telegram channel that Cointelegraph employees use to deliver stories. And one of their employees acted very fast and sent a very quick update on X. But because of that, and of course it says that later they saw news of basically BlackRock saying that the ETF application is still under review. There was no news about this ETF approval, and because of that, they started fixing their errors, thinking that they could do it without any damage. So first they changed the post to, instead of just saying breaking SEC approves iShare Bitcoin ETF, they add the reportedly, saying that it's unconfirmed, and they wanted to clarify that. But later, of course, they delete that post and give out this explanation saying that this post was wrong. Now, I've been talking about the Bitcoin ETF for a while and how bullish this could be. And because of all this bullishness and people thinking that ETF got approved, we saw a lot of damage, and that included $83 million worth of shorts liquidated on the Bitcoin market. That is very, very bad. That was a very big event that basically caused Cointelegraph's rating to fall down tremendously. And the question is, does Cointelegraph lose its rating because of that? Well, they are trying to stay very, very transparent and showing everything what happened and giving an apology. So the rating of Cointelegraph technically should not happen. They did say that they're gonna prevent everything like this, and they say that to ensure that something like this does not happen again, the Cointelegraph team is thoroughly auditing and reviewing all social media management processes. So they are changing some of their things to review social media processes more often, and hopefully we will not see this kind of misinformation. But of course, because of this misinformation, this is why Bitcoin rose all the way to $30,000, and right there got rejected and fell back down to 28. That's why we had a crazy pump and a massive dump back down. This pump was overall 13%, starting from 26,500 all the way up to $30,000 straight. And of course, that's where a lot of the shorts were liquidated, and that's where a lot of people lost money. But of course, this is technically bearish because people had hoped on ETF getting updated and approved, but turns out no ETF was approved. But we do have news about ETF actually getting approved. Looking at X, we can see that Benzinga reports that the SEC will not pursue an appeal in the Grayscale case. It is unlikely that the SEC will escalate the matter to the Supreme Court. As a result, it is highly probable, listen to this, it is highly probable the SEC and Grayscale will start discussions about conversion next week. What this post is basically saying is that the SEC will not basically pursue legal actions with the Grayscale case. Now, Grayscale is basically a fund that is trying to become an ETF, but the SEC does not want this ETF because it's saying that it could be very, very easily manipulated. But it has been proven that this ETF is safe and secure and it's all normal. So if the SEC continues with this, trying to get some legal action out of this, this is not going to be legal. They will be basically breaking the law. So they will not be escalating this whole matter to the Supreme Court. They will try to figure out this in a more calm way. They're basically backing off. You know, all this, I've been talking about all this news on the ETF for a while now, but looks like the SEC is starting to back off of the ETFs and could be seeing a conversion from a fund to a Bitcoin spot ETF very, very soon. Next week, apparently. Now, what's more interesting is that Walter Guro, a post from X, says that Bloomberg analysis says there's a 90% chance of the spot Bitcoin ETF being approved. Now, that's exciting. And here's the thing. If the Bitcoin ETF is approved, even one of them, because there's 10 different kinds, if one of the Bitcoin ETF gets approved, all of them will start to get approved all at the same time, because you can't approve one without approving the other ones. They're almost the same exact on the level of security. So if the SEC approves one, they're going to start to have all this legal action starting to be suggested from those companies that are also having the same exact security, wondering why one company got accepted but they did not. So there is a very big chance the SEC could approve the Bitcoin ETFs very, very soon. And because of that, Bitcoin does not fall down all the way. It stays up in this level. Now, looking at technical analysis, technically this could still be bullish, even though we saw all this FUD. We saw people basically FOMO into this Bitcoin chart, FOMO into Bitcoin, thinking that they could make some profit because they thought that the ETFs were getting approved. That did not happen yet, but it does look like it could happen very, very soon, which is why there's still some bullish sentiment in the market and people are still trying to keep Bitcoin at this level. Now, looking at technical analysis, now the question becomes, are we going to fall back down? Because if we look at technical analysis, we technically tap the top of this rising channel that I have been talking about for a while. Now, technically, if you think about it, if we did not have this FOMO from Cointelegraph, the question is, would we see a rise into this rising channel once again, or would we get rejected from this level? If we get rejected from this level, I've been talking about how we could see a fall down to around $23,000. But since we're back inside of this rising channel, are we bullish? Well, this is a rising channel. It's a bearish pattern overall. We also have an ascending broadening wedge. That's another bearish channel. These are two possible indicators. There are two possible patterns on the Bitcoin chart that could play out. Now, I have been talking about another thing that could play out, which is the ABC correction wave. And the question is that off the charts now? Because technically, for ABC correction wave to happen, we need to rise up to around the 0.5 to 0.618 level. This is the golden pocket. This is usually where Bitcoin rises up to, gets rejected, and starts to fall down. And I was talking about this, and I was talking about how we basically had to watch Bitcoin break above this level and confirm support. The thing is, we only saw a wick, and now we are back down inside of this golden pocket, probably getting rejected from the 0.5 level. On the daily time frame, anything higher than 28,300 is just a wick. We have no candles, so technically we are still in that golden pocket, which means this ABC correction wave could still play out. Pairing that with this rising channel and the fact that the RSI and stochastic RSI are fairly high in the daily time frame, you could start seeing a pattern of bearishness emerging. But my previous live stream, I talked about how Bitcoin does not need to fall. I was talking about how there's a very big chance of a black swan event happening very, very soon. But Bitcoin has a very big role in that black swan. I was talking about how Bitcoin does technically not need to fall down in this black swan event because it is correlated with gold, and both are a hedge against the dollar. Speaking of which, gold, which is the chart that I'm showing right now, is starting to rise. It also rose up to around 1,915 from 1,810, which was let's look at this, a 7% rise. So the question now becomes, did Bitcoin actually rise because of this FUD from Cointelegraph? Did it start rising because of the misinformation on the ETFs, or is it rising because this is just a simple level of supply and demand? And that would explain why we have not fallen back down, because Bitcoin has basically risen appropriately, only 7%, following just like gold. And the question now becomes, is Bitcoin gonna start rising or will it fall down? And only time will tell, but we do have a couple indicators that we need to follow. We have a lot of support that Bitcoin needs to confirm on to start rising. For example, this 0.5 level, we need to confirm support at the 0.5 level. If we break this level, we will 100% start to fall down and we will lose tremendous bullish support. We need to confirm at this level, or at least maximum at 27,500. If we fall below 27,500, this could mean that we might not be seeing this rising trend and could not see a pump up to around $30,000. But if we manage to confirm support right now at that level, we could see a rise to around 30,500 to the top of this level. I've been talking about this level for a while, and I was talking about the fact that we need to break above 31,100 for me to be 100% bullish in Bitcoin. Until we keep rising and staying inside of that level, we could still see a crash down to 23,000. That's because of a very big indicator on the weekly time frame. There's a very big pattern, a very big potential triple top. If we see this triple top and we fall back down at that level, we could see a fall down to around $19,000. So in the short term, even if we do see a fall down, a rise up to 31,000, we could still get rejected and fall down in the short term. And that also pairs with this rising channel, the ABC correction wave, and the clarification, the misinformation on the Bitcoin ETFs. And all that it matters is what happens with gold in real life, what happens with the news about the ETFs in real life. That is what matters most importantly. But looking at the technical analysis, what matters is that we confirm support at these moving averages, because on the daily time frame, we have basically climbed on top of these moving averages, the 20, the 50, the 200, and could be confirming support. This is a very big key moment for Bitcoin. If we manage to confirm support at these moving averages, this could be a very big chance for Bitcoin to rise up to higher levels and make a higher high, and potentially start its Bitcoin rally to very high levels. And we could see a small rally on the weekly time frame for the next couple of months. That will only happen if we are able to confirm support at this level, at around 23,300 to 27,300. Within this level, as long as we stay above this level and confirm support, we will see a rise up. One more thing I want to talk about is the fact that on the weekly time frame, it does appear that we are getting rejected from this 100-week moving average. If we get rejected from this level and the 200-week moving average that is also approaching us, we could see a fall back down to $23,000, and we need to be able to confirm support on top of this level. This is all hinging upon the fact that we need to start rising very, very soon. We need to see momentum, and if we do not see momentum, if we get rejected at this level and the candle closes and we start falling down, that is a very big bearish thing for Bitcoin on the midterm time frame. The candle closes in 5 days. If we fall down anymore, we will see a fall down very, very soon. And that's why we need to confirm support at this level. If we don't, we will see a crash down to first 27,000. And if we fall even more, we will see a crash down to 24,000. And that is just the beginning. So what we need to do is confirm support at this level right over here on the daily time frame. Going back in on the 4-hourly time frame, I just want to say that we do not need to see a pump up in the immediate short term. We could see a fall down, confirm support at this level, and start rising up. What matters is that in the next couple weeks, we do not see a crash beneath 26,700. We cannot see a crash below this higher low. If we see a crash below this higher low, this shows a very strong bearish trend. A lot of things could happen in the near term, and a lot of news is being covered. A lot of bullish things, a lot of bearish things. People are very skeptical in both directions. People cannot figure out where Bitcoin's gonna go. And so what we need to do is watch out on the news, watch out for confirmation of support, and see Bitcoin breaking out of this consolidation, because we have been consolidating ever since March of 2023, and as long as we stay inside of this level, we could be bouncing around indefinitely. And this is where the cycle comes in. This is where the Bitcoin halving comes in, because the Bitcoin halving is a very big cycle that essentially controls Bitcoin almost. It shows us the long-term aspect of Bitcoin, it shows where it's going to go. For example, in the beginning of the cycle, Bitcoin starts to rise up, but then during the middle, it crashes down. And we are right now at the last year of the cycle. The Bitcoin halving is going to happen in April 2024. If I load the Bitcoin halving and show you guys, this could be, let's just pull this chart up right here. This could be something very, very massive. If we pull this up right over here and show you guys the Bitcoin halving charts for Bitcoin, you could see something very, very interesting going on the weekly time frame. Going on the weekly time frame, you can see that every 4 years we saw a rise in the beginning to the middle of the year, a crash down at the second to third year, and then this last year and a half is where the miscommunication starts. This is where a lot of people become skeptical in Bitcoin, a lot of pumping, a lot of dumping in this last year and a half. And the key is holding through this level, because this is the level where it's the hardest time of the halving. This is where people believe that the Bitcoin bull market is about to start, and then it falls down 50% for no apparent reason or for some real life news. But the key is holding till the Bitcoin halving, and a couple months later, and this has been shown and proven throughout every single cycle, that a couple months later after the halving, we see this rise up, we see this bull market happen that gives us tremendous gains. And of course, the last year could be anything. This last year could be us rising up to around $47,000, or this last year could be seeing us fall down to $20,000. But whatever happens in the long term, we will see a quick increase in Bitcoin as soon as the Bitcoin halving starts, which is at April 2024. A couple months after the halving, that's when we start. So the fourth quarter of 2024 is when the crazy bull market will start. And until then, we can see crazy action in the short term, in the up, rising up, falling down, black swan event happening, and it will not matter. As you guys can see, we had this crash down on Bitcoin, this coronavirus stuff, this pandemic that happened for Bitcoin, and we just instantly recovered, rising from 3,000 up to $10,000 in around a month. If we go down and check where basically that pandemic took Bitcoin, looking back, you can see that this pandemic took us from 10,000 down to 3,000, which was a 62% pump, and then Bitcoin almost instantly recovered a month later. Of course, a lot of people got liquidated, but we could see the same exact thing happen for Bitcoin, and at the same time, we could see a rise up, and it all depends on which direction Bitcoin breaks out on this consolidation area. And for that, you can't use technical analysis as much on the long-term time frame, because consolidation is very confusing. So what you need to watch is breakouts, watch momentum, and watch real life news. And just saying, this last year will be a very big ride depending on what Bitcoin does in the next couple weeks, the next month. We will see what Bitcoin's going to do. And for that being said, this is all the news that I have for today. This is all the technical analysis. If you have any questions, any concerns, any crypto you want me to look at, just leave a comment down in the YouTube comment section, and I'll be sure to look at that. Leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. I do daily updates like this, daily live streams on crypto.